Welcome back to the channel. This is Wei Hao at Direct Impact Solutions. With FileMaker 19.3, we got the third release of the new Quick Start Experience preview feature. If you don't know what the new Quick Start Experience is, it is a new FileMaker authoring environment intended to bring the local experience back to FileMaker. Using Clara's own analogy, imagine FileMaker as an Olympic-sized pool. Our Quick Start experience represents the shallow end, and the full power of FileMaker Pro represents the deep end. The deep end isn't going anywhere, but the new shallow end is designed to bring more developers to the platform. If you want to try it out, please follow the link in the description below. But I'm not here today to introduce this feature. I spent a few hours trying to use this feature to replicate a module I recently developed, which is what you see in the background. Here, I want to talk about my reaction to this new preview feature. First, the way this feature is released is a good indication of how Claris is trying to embrace Agile. As mentioned before, this is the third release of this preview feature. Each release added some minimum viable features to prompt user feedback. This shows how Claris is attempting to prioritize customer collaboration and respond to changes. This is also my recommended way of building and releasing your own solutions. We usually don't know everything there is to know about the product we're trying to deliver. So instead of building a ton of features without knowing how valuable they are, focus on delivering minimum viable product and use user feedback to adjust the direction of the next step is a good practice to keep your project's ROI high. Back to Claris. Notice I said attempting, because if we really want to get feedback, we need to make the feedback channel clear. As of this video, I'm still not sure where I should be posting my feedback for this preview feature. Well, one step at a time. Second, let me talk about my overall feeling towards this feature. The biggest difference for me is that the new Quick Start experience greatly reduced the database feeling of the authoring environment and makes it focus more on the front end. Using it feels more like using a designing tool like Figma or Adobe XD rather than a database development tool. For many of us who have been using FileMaker Pro for a while, when we build applications, we always start with data, trying to understand what entities and attributes are involved and what's the relationship between them. It's like we always put on our database developer hat first before we put on our designer hat. But this new authoring environment makes the UI data binding almost transparent. Instead of diving into tables and fields and relationships, I find myself focusing more on what do I want to display or interact with on the user interface, which might be a more intuitive experience for newcomers. I have to say that I find it funny that with time, the original low-code platform FileMaker Pro has loaded with too many features. So Claris decided to create a new authoring environment to reintroduce the local experience. I want to mention that this new authoring environment is available from a web browser if you use FileMaker Cloud. To me, this aligns with what many other local platforms are doing right now, which is to provide a lightweight, browser-based, easily accessible authoring environment to deal with simple development, then use a desktop-based environment to do the heavy work. Last but not least, if you have come this far into this video, many of you might be wondering, what does this do for me? I think for brand new FileMaker users, when the official version of this feature releases, it will be a great way to introduce them to the development side of the platform. But if you have experience with the current Pro toolset, I think this will still be a good prototyping tool to facilitate the communication of requirements. We don't speak requirements by nature. We rarely see users come to us with the what and why. They usually come to us with the how. The conversation usually goes, I want a drop-down list here with a button there, and clicking on it goes to this other screen with all these fields. With this tool, we can quickly put together a prototype representing the user's description and use it to further flesh out the need under the hood. Or we can even give this to the user, allowing them to put together what's in their head as a way to jumpstart requirement elicitation. Overall, I'm positive about what Claris is doing with this. I think it will benefit both ends of the community and is a great addition to the product lineup. That's the end of this video. If you have tried this out and want to share how you feel, or if you want to react to what I just said, leave us a comment. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We publish FileMaker videos every week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.